You are watching another episode of Shane Solomon Meets, brought to you by the Cornwall Channel. I'm your host, Shane Solomon, and today I'm meeting Kim Conchie and Lord Falmouth. So, gentlemen, welcome to the Cornwall Channel studios. First of all, Lord Falmouth, it's a pleasure to have you here for the first time. What's your first thoughts, sir?
Well, it's lovely to come out and see different activities in Cornwall, because you are very much at the forefront of media. And media is such an important part of what is needed down here. And I suspect you started before it, but the lights of bringing super fast broadband to Cornwall has created activity which we couldn't do in rural locations like we do now. So it's lovely to be here and see what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. And of course, no stranger to our studio here, Kim Conchie, the CEO of the Cornwall Chamber of Commerce. Great to have you back again. And of course, you've just recorded a podcast with Lord Falmouth, which I encourage everyone to watch and listen to. Great to have you back, Kim.
Well, I wouldn't be here so many times, Shane, if I didn't think it was, as highly of it as Lord Falmouth has said. So, no, thanks for inviting me back again.
Thank you very much. And I must say, just quickly, we had the Cornwall Chamber Awards yesterday in Falmouth, and it was absolutely superb. What a great chamber. It's so buoyant at the moment. It's done wonderful things for the Cornwall Channel. And as a small business growing, it's so essential for us. But what a buzz in that room yesterday, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? I said it at the time. It's fantastic to have so many different sectors prospering in Cornwall at the moment, from the media to professional services to manufacturing to creative and tech businesses. So it really is healthy. And of the 100 people that were there yesterday morning, everybody was doing well. There's a really good vibe. So there's lots to be positive about. But I've got to be careful I don't sound glib, because wearing my chair of trustees at Cornwall Community Foundation, I'm also aware of the deprivation, the struggles that some people are having. So I think even those organisations want hope, and they want solutions to be found. But I think we've got to work as a county. We are a very generous people. We're very collaborative. We work together very well. And I think those of us who are realising we're having a lovely time in the best place in the world to live, have just at this time of year got to be attentive to those people who are not quite as lucky. And I know friends at food banks and so on who are overwhelmed and very tearful at this time of year with the stories they're hearing from those people. But even those people need hope, and the hope and joy which living in a place like Cornwall and the businesses that are prospering here can provide is really cheering for everybody at the moment.
Absolutely. I know our producers Mike looking at me because the phone's vibrating on the table. So we got so many things to be proud about with Cornwall. I mean, I'm a Cornishman. I'm very proud to be a Cornishman. And moving forward into 2023, we're not far away from a new year, which is always great to kind of reset the mindset a little bit and make the plans. And although there's a lot of poverty, but lower income areas, there's problems for sure. I want to make this podcast about what we can look forward to, what we've got to shout about, some of those things. Cornwall PLC at large, really, because we've got a beautiful county. We was talking in the green room earlier on, Lord Falmouth, about the road structure we have here in Cornwall.
We are so fortunate down here, and you think that the last bit of road being built from Chiltern Cross to Carlin Cross is being duelled at the moment, and the bit going in from Bodmin over to St Austell. Those are major infrastructure problems for this county. But compared to other counties, I don't think anyone understands just how good they are. And you go across, I have businesses in Kent. You go across country in Kent. It's a nightmare getting from A to B. You have two roads which go to Dover and Folkestone from London. And that's the old road. The old Kent Road was what it was known as. But Cornwall has this amazing structure here. And you can get very easily to most places in Cornwall very quickly. Yes, North Cornwall is some distance from up north, but it's not that far.
It's a small world now. It's a small world, and it's getting smaller. Now, exporting Cornwall, what we're known for, food and drink, of course, and Tregothnan, no stranger to that, and it's great to have this tea with us here today. Now, what can we talk about and big up with Cornwall? Of course, we've got our food and drink. There's other things I hear Kim talking about, you know, the kind of lithium side of things down here and the mining heritage of days gone by there, but what can we big up? Because again, yes, I know there's problems out there, and I think by solving those problems, we need to encourage entrepreneurs and to succeed so that we can help out these other kind of areas.
I think innovation and entrepreneurialism works when it fits the geography and the psyche of the people. And I think what the opportunities are in Cornwall at the moment around renewable energy, around lithium, around food and drink, around creative industries are very suitable for what Cornwall wants to see ourselves as being good at. And I think they answer the problems of the 21st century. So if we look at the opportunities for floating offshore wind, for example, renewable energy, we all know. We just wish the funds were there to make it happen more quickly, but we all know this is the answer. You know, having been through this awful war in 2022, and we've suddenly become very aware of energy security, for example. If we can produce our own energy out in the Celtic Sea, bring it ashore in Hale and North Devon, then a big element of that problem solved. You put that, Shane, alongside geothermal drilling, onshore wind, solar energy, Cornwall then becomes a real powerhouse of 21st century solutions. So that's one where I'm very excited about it. Creative industries led by Falmouth University would be another.
Alongside that, the ability to store energy, putting battery farms in Cornwall is very important because, as we see, when there's no wind, it tends to be cold, very cold, and it's sunny. And solar doesn't really work because the daylight hours are so long. So we need to be able to store energy, and putting some battery farms, substantial battery farms, which can deliver load immediately, is critical. And people shouldn't be frightened of this. There are bits of land in Cornwall that can easily be turned into areas that are hidden from sight to store energy, to use it. I'm not certain you can store it down mine shafts that easily, but you need fall of water to create hydropower and those things. And we don't really have very big hills. We're not Scotland.
Sorry, Kim, go on.
And that Lord Falmouth then mentioned about not wanting to spoil the beauty of the place with whether that be battery storage or solar energy or whatever. And we mustn't forget the place we do live in is so beautiful. We are going to have visitors, and we are going to love living it in ourselves. So we've got to make sure we look after it. We've got to look after the environment. We've got to look after the quality of what we're doing, producing, serving, etc. So we mustn't forget hospitality as a huge part of what we'll be wanting to do.
One of the things of hospitality is much of that marketplace comes to Cornwall, and we're pretty good at that. What we also have to do is balance that by what we take out of Cornwall. The marketplace of Cornwall, the world, is far greater than just the tourist business in Cornwall in the summer. We have to get better at it, and it is possible to export. And it's not just food. I was looking at one operation of mine the other day. I was thrilled to see the wristbands were being used to walk past the Queen when she was lying in state. And it's creating those things, getting out of Cornwall to the world. Your marketplace is much bigger outside the world, and we have to do that. And Chamber of Commerce has been an absolute key driver in that, and under Kim's leadership, that has gone from strength to strength.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Now, one thing you said to me in the green room earlier on, Lord Falmouth, was about your kind of vision for like 500 years' time, you know, for things to be good then, as opposed to just thinking about, you know, the next year.
We have a slightly mad vision at home. We've nearly been where we are, Boscanes at Tregothnan, since 1334, and our vision is to look for the next 500 years. And one of the strange things about that is that no one really looks further than their nose. Today's political spectrum is all about an issue today or yesterday. It's not about these long-term issues, and it's an absolute key driver. What are your long-term opportunities happening? And the big long-term opportunity is for Cornwall, it has to be lithium. And if it can be done economic, that will be a massive bonus to the operations in Cornwall. And not only lithium, it's the other minerals which exist underneath the ground still. And forgive me for getting my depths wrong, but in the old days at Cornish Pump, the thing which really revolutionised the county of Cornwall, the beam engine, they could only pump to a certain depth. And we know there are extensive minerals in the ground below that. There are extensive minerals also above that, which were never linked together. Modern technology is allowing us to create a map, an underground map of where these minerals lie.
Exactly. Now, there's so many things I want to talk about. We're all very short on time today, but just to kind of sum up for you, Kim, and I'll come to you after this, Lord Falmouth, 2023 is around the corner. Your kind of words of wisdom, advice to any of the businesses watching or listening to this podcast back for 2023 and forward. What have we got to look forward to, in your opinion?
I think the one word is hope. We've had a very difficult time with the pandemic, for some businesses with Brexit, and now the energy crisis. But what that's meant is that businesses in places like Cornwall have become incredibly resilient. And I think if we can keep that groundedness and that sensibility that Cornish people has, that sort of, we're not too highfalutin, are we? Let's use that as a real business skill going forward. And if we can all work together, we're a very generous county. We give each other time and resources where need be. Let's use those to exponentially grow that Cornwall brand around the world. And I think that hope and ambition, we've got it here. It just needs to be put a fire under it, I think. And that's my message for 2023. Let's be ambitious.
I like that. Lord Falmouth, and same question for you, really.
Very much on the same lines, but I come down to one word: activity. We have to continue to create activity and drive that activity. Without activity, we go nowhere. You have to move it. You have to be creative, as Kim says. And we mustn't be frightened of the world. The world is a very big place. Yes, Cornwall's a tiny place, and we are proud of it. Yes, we must use that, and we mustn't be frightened of exporting. As an organisation myself, we've exported all around the world for many, many years. Brexit, before pre-Brexit, the European Union made it very simple in Europe, but it was still just as difficult and easy at the same time to export to other parts of the world. It's just you've got to get your details right. Your paperwork is critical, and I know the Chamber of Commerce are experts in helping with that. They have been the licensed contractor by the government for export restitutions. So look up past the Tamar, look past the Channel. There are other places where you can sell your product.
Great advice, great advice. And activity, great word. Yeah, if you're not taking action, you've got to take that action always. I would like to say a huge thank you to Jonathan Jones. I remember meeting Jonathan many years ago through, it was the Cornwall Community Foundation actually, through a lovely lady called Claire Thayers, so a shout out to Claire. But I remember him have that giant teapot that you have. It was at the Royal Cornwall Show. It was huge.
And it had a starring role in G7 as well, didn't it?
And it went to Chengdu, I think, and
Right.
Shanghai with the Prime Minister once on an overseas
That's
sales
right,
trip.
yes. I remember the photos from that. But you certainly hit gold when you found Jonathan, that's for certain, because he's such a great ambassador for the brand. I know he works there, but he's an ambassador in my eyes for Tregothnan and for Cornwall.
Yeah.
So a massive thank you to Jonathan. A huge thank you to the Cornwall Chamber of Commerce, Kim, for you and the whole team. Honestly, it's been absolutely superb this year. My thanks, as always, to Mike and the producers here at the Cornwall Channel. We are very grateful for all of our viewers. We're a small team, but with a big passion, and we do appreciate you all. My final thanks is to Lord Falmouth. I'm hoping this won't be the last time you come and see us, and I would love for you to have a regular spot. I really would. I think you've got many stories to tell and some great advice. So any final words from yourself?
Long live Cornwall.
I like that. So that's it from
Kerno
me.
Bisviken.
Indeed, Kerno Bisviken. So if you know anyone doing anything remarkable here in Cornwall, please let me know. Drop me an email, shane@cornwallchannel.co.uk. But from me and these wonderful fine gentlemen, we'll see you in the new year.